Hey everyone, once more unto the breach, dear Crittermanders. Once more we shall seal this adventure path with our corpse fleet dead. My name is Patrick, and I am your game master, your podcaster, and your guide to the end of Season 1 of Cosmic Crit. Welcome back, yet again. We can't dally too much as we need to get to wrapping up this adventure. I want to make sure, though, that you stick around after we play, as we have another interview with this AP's author, and for the Empire Bones, that'll be Starfinder design lead Owen K.C. Stevens. He was kind enough to talk to us about all things Corpse Fleet, Walls of Force, and Elikoths. That is right after our episode ends, and you will not want to miss it. Including this episode, there are only 3 episodes left in this season of our show, which means that you have a little more time in order to join our February fan challenge. Guess what Drew, Jabert, Miles, Rebecca, and Tyler are going to pick as their Season 2 character classes and races, and whoever guesses the most correct will win a gift card to the Cosmic Crit store. We will announce the winners at the beginning of March, right before our Season 2 opener episode, so follow the link in our description and on our website and get your guesses in now. Okay, intro out of the way. You didn't come here for this. You want back in on the action. So let's get to it. It's episode 72, entitled Exit Through the Crit Shop.
Last time on Cosmic Crit.
Raimi, Knack, Andis, and Alindra save Adras's butt.
In his continuing mission to toe the line between bravery and stupidity, Raimi teleports through another wall to help his endangered Vesk friend.
We finally downed Admiral Saravax. His walls can't hold us back.
The bad guy has been destroyed and things are about to explode. It's time to run away and not look behind us.
Only the one thing left to do! Run!
We set the Empire of Bones on a course to impact and destroy the stellar degenerator.
Heavens to Murgatroyd! Exit stage left even!
Raimi cranks up the classic tunes as he pilots the Empire of Bones to its final destination.
Hold on to your butts!
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
We're dive bombing into global Armageddon as 2 supergiant powers collide, and the results are quite explosive on Dr. Cosmic Love, or, as an alternative title, How the Drift Rider Crew Learned to Stop Worrying and Learn to Love the Crit. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. I'm your GM, your General Major, huddled in an underground bunker, deciding upon the fate of the planet. Joining me this week in blasting the commies back to the Stone Age are my 5 friends and your crew of Boeing B-52 Stratofortress members. To my left, Peter Sellers playing 3 roles, all of whom know how to get 'em. It's Drew playing Knack Feldspar.
I'm so nervous I can't come up with a quote.
To his left, tell them that they can't fight in here. This is the war room. It's playing Andis 147.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's why I give you
Patrick.
Across the digital table from me, General Disarray in the form of mutually assured destruction. It's Miles playing Raimi Quindar.
Good evening.
To his left, a Lashuntan bombshell supernovaing over the former USSR. It's Rebecca playing Alindra Vallis.
Hello.
And finally, to my right, why, it's King Kong himself, whipping his cowboy hat as he straddles an A-bomb. It's Tyler playing Adras Veronis. Yeah. Whoa, what is this? Some kind of end of Season 1 miracle where Tyler knows what's going on? Slim Pickens, riding it all the way down. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Good.
Welcome back. How are we feeling tonight?
Nervous.
Yeah, good, but,
I'm feeling-
that could change.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I just straddled a bomb and I'm riding it to its ultimate conclusion.
You guys really thought you were out of danger last week, right? There was this boss fight, and that means Patrick's out of time on his march to kill one of you or all of you off.
Well,
No.
you did say we had X number of episodes left, and we were counting.
Yeah. You're not out of danger yet. There is still much danger to be had in this episode. So you guys are ready, right, to escape the Empire of Bones? Maybe finish off this adventure path?
Yeah.
As I'll ever be.
Let's get them.
Let's get right back into the action. Yeah. You all just set the Empire of Bones, the super colossal capital ship, on a direct collision course with the stellar degenerator. An alarm in Eoxian starts blaring across the ship.
Warning, impact imminent. Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship.
Blood red warning lights begin flashing, and two large exhaust ports kind of slide open and reveal emergency elevators that seem to lead below decks. And as taking a look at the computers and maps, you see that these seem to go to life rafts several decks below.
Well, that's handy.
I say it's
Gang, this way.
it's almost like the people who run the ship don't want to die with it. So, you guys are tumbling into these elevator shafts, getting ready to go down.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, preferably walking into them, but yeah.
Yeah. Adros will click on his mag boots and walk down the walls.
That's not how it works. Well,
Oh, dang it!
Edros is dead, as it takes like 50 minutes to walk the length of the ship.
Did I hear anything back from the Drift Rider?
There is apparently almost no way to communicate through this ship's shields, or perhaps the battle going on outside. There's all kinds of jams going through. At least you haven't heard anything back from Bumfuzzle and Cattywampus yet.
Darn.
While you guys are now finally getting a moment's rest here and getting to these elevators, why doesn't everyone make me a fortitude save?
Oh no.
You know, guys, it's okay. The GM would never ask for a fortitude save if it was something bad.
Have you met our GM?
No, but I did roll a 32, so I don't care.
You might
Just a 32. So sad. Yeah, some really good rolls here, right?
Yeah, I got a 29.
What's the lowest? Is the lowest Alendro with a 21?
Yeah.
You're gonna hate me.
You still have the eel coat, right? Eel jacket?
No.
I think I've used it.
I do.
The DC for this is 22, and perhaps it's your Lashuntan psychic abilities, but as you know, you close your eyes just for a moment as the elevator kind of flashes and you see lights of the decks going by. You get flashes of Seravox still alive somewhere inside your mind. It seems the potent wizard left a dark impression upon your psyche as part of his death and is kind of reaching out beyond the grave with a telepathic grasp once more. And yeah, you feel your arms heavier, weapons feel like they weigh twice as much, footsteps a little less sure. You are fatigued as the condition.
Oh no.
Oh, good.
Hey, you're looking a little sleepy right there. I used one of my 2 remaining restoratives to counteract fatigue.
You still get a flash or two in your mind, but the the miracle of better living through chemistry is going to stop that negative. Right, so the escape route is a fast one, and it's just a few minutes later that the elevator opens into a large black corridor, about 20 feet wide, 30 foot tall. There are markings that show a small landing bay, a scarce 500 yards from where this elevator drops off. It currently has a readout and shows there are 3 lifeboats in place and operational. What do you guys want to do?
How many
Let's go to
people?
there.
How many people fit in a lifeboat?
Like 5 or 6.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so they're lifeboats, not pods.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like an escape capsule kind of thing as opposed to a single person pod.
Okay.
Not like a yellow raft that goes through space.
It just inflates for no reason. So so we'll float in space,
Yeah.
so we don't sink.
It also
One of
comes
the
with a
3 is
volleyball to
broken.
talk to.
It does that too, yeah.
So I imagine that there are probably still some unliving folks that are trying to get to these things. Do we see anybody in the corridor ahead of us?
Why doesn't everyone make a perception check?
Not got a 40.
Right, so Knack a 40, Andis.
Edros got a 10.
Yeah. Yeah, why do you roll that, Edros? Andis, with the 35 and the added bonus of being able to see in the dark, you see about 100 feet down the corridor. Looks like from where you're standing right now, a couple of bone-like creatures clutching rifles and kind of peering into the space where you're standing, but perhaps they cannot see that far.
I'm so glad you said feet after that 100. I got really nervous for a second.
Yeah. 100 monsters. 100 Skittermanders.
Just right down this corridor.
So when we set this thing on a collision course with the stellar degenerator, presumably we sort of like we're keeping track of what our speed was, and maybe we could calculate roughly how long it's going to take. Like, do we have like minutes? Do we have like rounds to get out of here? Or
yeah, it's probably a good 15, 20 minutes still from where you just hit the button a few minutes ago up on the command deck, hustled into the elevator and got to here. So
Okay, cool.
Are you thinking we need to maybe duck, dodge, dip, dive, and dodge these guys, or do you think we need to take them out on the way?
I think we can take them. Let's take it slow. Take it slow and stealthy. Looks like we got 2. Can I tell what they are? They look like Baycocks, but
They are indeed fully skeletal, like the Baycocks that you've fought elsewhere, and they seem to have a similar kit, this long, evil, bone-like rifle. So it's not a bad. With the eyes of Rian, you are able to make out some specifics about them at this distance.
Yeah, I'll use physical science as a move action to identify undead critters. 33.
That is enough. These are indeed, looks like, some pretty nasty looking Baycocks. Once again, from a brief conversation with Raimi after you had a few encounters with them, they have some nasty abilities, including infusing into their weapons, into their ammunition, dark necrotic energy, as well as a fun ability. It's called Devour Soul, and if you ever are unconscious or on the ground, they can come up to you and make you do a fortitude save, or you die.
Okay. That's worth remembering.
Yeah, if they're dead or dying, they can just suck your soul out of your body.
I would like to stealth to within 80 feet. Okay. And then, Edros, maybe you hang in the back.
Okay.
Oh god, I forgot Adros.
Sure, yeah, you think so?
Right. So I've rolled a 29 on my stealth check.
Okay, yeah, you are able to move forward, 20, 30 feet from where you first saw them?
Then I'm going to move up to the 80-foot mark in front of them. Do I need to make another check here?
No, but moving forward, you do see now, skulking in the shadows behind them, another figure. And it's one that you have seen before, as it is a large, undead, Vesk-looking figure.
No.
Very similar armor and armament to the Gatecrasher undead Saravox had at their side.
All right. I relay this back to the rest of the crew, and I'm going to track the 2 Baycocks, and I'm going to tell everybody to get ready for a party. So gang, if you'd like to arrange yourself in whatever setup you'd like back there.
Knack is going to need to get a lot closer to do anything. So
same.
Right. Well, what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on opening up with a volley and seeing if I can probably not drop one of these guys, but maybe if I get a crit, and then I'm just going to pull back. And so I'm going to pull them back to you.
Okay.
Raimi, do you have any invisibility spells left? If you give Alindra or I invisibility, we possibly flank them.
I think I have one more 4th level spell left.
Yeah, you can burn a higher level spell for a regular spell if you'd like, if you just want to do invisibility.
I'm wondering if invisibility wouldn't be as useful as one of those 4th level spells.
Well, so for my 4th level spell, I have greater invisibility, so I could give that to one of them, which would be pretty helpful.
That makes sense.
I would think Idros might be the person to give it to just because of his health situation, but
we could also flash grenade him.
I'm going to need everyone's action right now. Let's go in say some kind of turn order. some kind of magical initiative turn order. So let's do this in order. Andis is the furthest forward. If you want to kick things off with a move or a standard in a surprise round, everyone can make a move or a standard. And Jabert, what would you like to do?
I definitely would have tracked these guys while I was surveilling them.
Easy enough.
No, all right. And then since this plasma caster has a nice long range on it, I'm just gonna open up with an opening volley, and I'm gonna try to go after the Baycock that's sort of on like the western side of the hallway, and I'm going to open up with an overcharged shot. So here we go.
Right.
So close to a crit.
Ooh, pretty good. I'm sorry. What weapon are you firing?
That was the plasma, or sorry, the Spear of Fates.
Ooh, yes, I forgot all about this gun. Magical, what's that? Plasma energy. Yeah. Shooting out the end of it. 33 is a hit. Get the flat.
Andis, have you not learned your lesson? That gun is useless. Stop using it.
I know, right?
It's totally cursed.
It's totally
cursed weapon. I
not-
fear for your life.
It's not doing 43 damage at all. Oh no!
43 is a good hit. Not enough to kill these tough and rough and tumble customers made completely of bone and the souls of like murderers from eons ago. Edros Veronis, a move or a standard action?
That's going to be a standard action to activate a force field, Patrick.
And Alindra Valis.
I am going to move right up next to Andis.
All right, moving forward. And finally, Raimi Quindar.
So Raimi is going to move next to Edros so that on his next turn... Actually, he's going to move up a little bit next to Nak so that... But it's communicating with Edros that to get next to him so he can turn him invisible.
Okay, and that will be the surprise round. It does seem like they are mustering forward. You see them clutching tight their weapons and looking down in your guys' direction. Let's go to turn 1. Nak Feldspar.
So Nak is going to move just slightly down here. Sorry, I need to do a little math to make sure I am in range.
To the front of the pack of everyone?
Actually, I'm not going to get that far because I don't have much. I don't have many move left. So he's going he's going to crouch just to get down, see if he can block some other shots. And he is going to quick draw his Hailstorm Zero pistol that he has had in reserve for a while. And that is what he is going to do for now.
And it's 147. Back to you.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna concentrate fire on that one over on the
one
right
you've hit.
Side. Yeah. And I'm going to this time I'm just gonna take 2 normal shots. I'm just gonna shoot twice. Okay, that one's only a 19 on EAC. Are they still flat-footed?
They are. That is a miss, though.
Okay. Even lower. Oh man.
The curse has caught up to Andis. Throw that gun away.
I told you, Andis. You're a fool.
The hallway lights up with plasma bolts just whizzing by their heads. Oh no. Edros Veronti, to you.
Raimi told Adros to move up next to him, so that's what Adros does.
And any standard action?
Yeah, why not? Let's throw a grenade. I'm sure I've got a grenade somewhere around in here.
Okay.
Do you have an extra healing serum or something that you could use?
Those are for the weak.
So you can throw a grenade about as far as you can see it. You'll have to be able to see the point on the ground, and I don't think you can see these guys yet, unless you have something has a long
dark vision,
long radius. You do 60 foot, right?
Yeah. Is it? Oh, is it? Oh, I see. Yes, right.
Looks like you're currently with Raimi about 80 or 90 feet.
So I can't see him. Grr.
No, you haven't seen him yet. You're just going off what the androids told you.
Dink. Well, then I got nothing. If I can't see him, I have to be next to Raimi. Then there's no standard action I can do.
Alindra Valis, on to you.
All right. I could rush these guys, but it looks like the rest of my team wants to lure them down the hall. Thoughts?
That was my thought. Because one of us could run out there, but then the rest of us would have to spend 3 turns catching up, right?
Yeah, I say we go slow and steady to get down there. I have something that will hopefully keep them pinned down where they are for a few minutes while we get there.
You see Adros look at you, and he says, I don't know. Good luck with that.
Thanks a lot. All right. So by the way, I'm photon attuned, and
Okay.
I think I'll just move down the hallway. I'll just go my minimum, my normal speed down the hallway, 40 feet.
Okay,
And
Half the distance between you and the Bacawks.
yeah, and that's all I can do. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stay there and ready my solar weapon.
Already, and Raimi Quindar.
All right, so Raimi's gonna mosey up to Idros. Be like, all right, buddy, I'm gonna turn you invisible, so don't freak out. Be calm, and uses greater invisibility.
Okay. Ooh, saving these for the last minute, and Edros disappears in the same magical kind of techno magic smoke you've seen used a few times before. Power's gone. Edros, gone. It is the enemy's turn. They're moving forward just slightly until they can see a couple of you, and they are going to take some shots. Let's see. They can see currently, it looks like Alindra, Knack, and Andis. No. Oh, no, they can see this one can see everyone. The one that's moved furthest forward can even see a Raimi in the back standing in front of invisible Andros. Let's see here. I'll take a shot at Alindra first. Alindra, what is your KAC?
27.
I've rolled a 10, so I've got a hit. And once again, I think you've taken a shot from these before. The ammo does feel gross. It feels like a sickening darkness is kind of taken over this wound. Let's damage first. That is 23 points of damage. Piercing damage from this combat rifle, and I need you to make a fortitude save for me.
Ooh, not great. 18.
18's enough, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. 9 on the dice will do it. And I've got a couple of options here for the next shot. And it's 147, of course, the one that shot at its friend. So let me take a shot here. 5 on the dice. That is going to be a miss. Pretty sure. What's your KAC?
KAC is 28.
Oh, gross. Okay, yeah. Miss. And then it's on to the big guy, the gate crasher. And he's going to spend his entire turn
Walking.
Run forward to Alindra. Hey.
Oh, no.
Right up to her. And that is their turn, going into turn 2 next.
All right, well, I had something I was going to do, but then I forgot about the big guy. So, big guy, let's go ahead and say,
I
get
think
him.
everyone can see everyone now. We're all within 60 feet. So get him on the big one.
Get him on the big one. And, hey, big guy, let's see if your bark is worse than your bite. Clever feint.
Oh, got it exactly.
Excellent. All right. So he is now flat-footed, clever feinted. Awesome.
Oh, yep. Got the full invoice spread there.
All right, then I'm going to quick draw my Paragon semi-auto pistol to fire at this fainted big guy here.
Dual-wielding pistols.
Yeah, so that's 32 to hit. 34 to hit.
Yeah, including some other. Yeah, that guy is very hit.
For 16 damage.
Oh my goodness, he's dead. You did it, Drew.
Hey, yeah!
I can't believe it.
I knew it.
No. It seems to bounce right through its body, and it gives you no mind. We're on to Andis 147. All 3 targets now you see clear as day in front of you.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to take a move action to... Oh gosh, I can only maintain it against 2 of them. I'm going to shoot the gate crasher twice with this thing.
Oh, you think you're gonna be able to hit my big bad boy?
That's my hope. Here we go. Alrighty. So I've rolled a 21 versus EAC. flat-footed EAC.
21 EAC. Oh, that would be a miss if you had also rolled a higher number. It is definitely a miss.
Oh, okay. And my second one is even lower, so we don't even have to talk about it.
Oh, we can because you rolled excellent damage on that one.
Yeah, nope, don't need to talk about that. We sure don't even need to talk about it.
Edros Ferranus, we're on to you. You're invisible now. You have the whole world as your oyster, and you can definitely do things. What do you want to do?
Adros runs to the escape pod and leaves. Nah! Never! He would never do that. No,
Takes all
Adros
3 of them.
Yeah, yes, he does. He puts his guns in one, his armor in another, and then he goes in the last one. He wants them to be extra safe. No, Adros says,
Andis Raimi, would a flash grenade affect these crazy weird guys? I have a flash grenade. I want to throw it, but they're undead. I don't know if it affects them. 'Cause
Right.
I'm bad at the mysticism skill.
But what do flash grenades do? I forget. They blind?
They blind things.
That's a great question, Patrick. With my vast knowledge of undead, do they blind things, or do undead get blinded?
does it blind? We'll find out.
Of undead grenades that I know about?
I believe we know for a fact that they are immune to fortitude saves. The flash grenade is a reflex save. There is nothing in undead immunities that stops
blinded.
them from being blinded. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But they cannot be blinded by fortitude save effects.
I see. I thumbs up at Idros.
All right. I've held on to this for way too long.
And Adros moves up, wants to be in easy lobbing range. So Adros is going to move forward just a few feet, and these guys have formed almost a nice circle in the hallway, and he's going to toss this grenade right in the middle of them, and so this should affect all of these undead bad guys.
Yeah, the flash grenade Mark II is a 10-foot, not radius, but square, right?
Correct. I believe
If
it is.
it's a square, I think you can hit 2 of them.
It says explode blinded 1d4 rounds 10 feet.
Yeah, so 10 feet, you should be able to get everybody targeting it on the corner of the gate crasher.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, kind of a perfect cross that they're standing in.
Yep.
Not too much in your way. Go ahead and make that attack roll.
Okay. Here's my throw attack. And I've rolled a 16. A 34. I'm sure that does it.
100%.
But I will say the DC here is pretty low, so I don't have a lot of hope here.
So let me first roll for the Big Hawks. This one that's been damaged already. 17 on the dice has made it.
They pass.
The one in the back. A 19 on the dice. Made it. And
Waste of time.
let's go for that gate crasher. See how he's doing. He's got a better reflex. 13 on the dice has made it.
This is why grenades are stupid.
Alindra not blinded though. You've put it precisely where she's able to look away very easily without taking any retina damage. Speaking of Alindra, Becca, it's your turn. You've got this giant undead Vesk on top of you. You didn't get a piece of the other one. Is this going to be Alindra's time to shine?
Yeah, I think so. I was thinking about doing something else, but I think I'm just gonna full attack.
Oh
I mean,
boy.
he came and stood next to me. He deserves it.
The thing is actually pretty slow. It had a run up to you.
I know, it
Jump.
went out of its way. I feel like I should honor that, and hit him really hard. All right, so number 1. Oh, not great. That's a 21 with get him.
Oh boy. Even with flat-footed, that's a miss.
Ooh, and number 2. Okay, that's a little better. That'll be a 30.
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's a hit.
Awesome. So that'll be with photon attunement. That will be a 52 damage.
Wow. Okay. So it is hurt by that one. You see a massive wound open up in its chest from Alindra's Solarian blade. That is your turn, bringing us to Raimi Quindar.
All right. So which one of these fellows did Andis initially hurt? Was it the one that's right in front of me?
Yeah, the one closest to you. It's still about 60 feet away, so you can see it with your dark vision.
Cool. Well, I am going to fire my artillery laser rifle at it.
Alrighty. No shooting through friendly cover because Dross is invisible.
That's a 32 to hit. Hit for 27 points of damage.
Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, so that one not looking too good, taking a couple of massive blasts. It is their turn, and they all have a target now that the Gatecrasher is on the scene. Let's try for these Bayconks again. This one that you've just hit, gonna shoot right back at you. Single shot. Oh my goodness. 3 on the dice. Way to end this campaign, Patrick.
Who can miss at this game?
What is your KAC, Miles?
All right, my KAC is 29.
Definite miss on the 3. This other one is either going to shoot at Andis or Alindra, who's closest to him. Let's see who they want to fire at. Oh, we're going for Alindra again. Another shot at Alindra. Right in front of this one. 10 on the dice is a hit. And the damage dice, pretty average spread. 21 points piercing damage. But Alindra, I need you to indeed make another fortitude save.
All right.
God. Yes!
Oh,
Disgusting.
yes.
A 1 would really help me out right now, Rebecca. Doing your GM is solid. A natural 20 is a save, and the giant undead Vessi is going to bring its swoop hammer down on you. Hopefully get a little bit of that luck you guys seem to be having. Let's make this giant swing attack against Alindra.
Currently, you're 2 for 2 on swoop hammer crits.
Ooh, not this time. 5 on the dice. I think that's still a hit. Please
Seriously?
still be hit.
Oh no.
Yes, still a hit.
No.
But no critical. Let's get another. This is 3d10 with a swoop hammer. And that is 31 points of bludgeoning damage. See, it brings it down on you, trying to crack armor, crack you like an egg, basically. And that is their turn. Turn 3. Oh, geez. Knack, Feldspar, we're onto you.
All right. The big guy seems to be posing the most threat right now. So we're going to once again get him. And we're going to try to clever attack one more time. What a nice swoop hammer. It'd be a shame if you just dented the side of the ship. Clever feint. Say 28.
That is not enough. It will be enough with your expertise bonus. I imagine you're not. Yeah, even if you roll a 1, that's enough.
Nice.
So this guy still got him. Do you want to make a shot?
I do. I want to shoot him with my Paragon semi-auto pistol. That is a 21 to hit.
21 against KAC is a miss.
Yeah, I figured.
With all your fun bonuses. This one's a little harder to hit. And this 147 onto you. Still in the back, still with a pretty good view of most of these combatants.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to just go ahead and take down the one that I've been shooting. The Baycock.
Gotcha.
That Raimi just shot at. So try to put that one on down. We're just gonna take the single shot, but we're gonna boost it.
Boosted single shot.
Boosted. Oh no.
Oh no.
It's
It is the cursed weapon. 1 on the dice.
I've told you so many times.
Critical.
I can make this work. I can make it work.
If you guys are listening at home, this weapon's only been on the podcast for like 3 episodes. 3 critical fails with it across 2 characters. That sounds like a curse to me. I don't know.
It really does sound cursed.
Let's see who we've got going on here. On CosmicCrit.com, you can find our electronic critical fail deck. This one is submitted by, I don't think we've ever got this, Caro Cogtatus. It's called Neutrino Burst Overload. Your weapon overpowers, causing double damage, but the recoil throws off your aim. Make a second attack roll at a random target, allies, enemies, and yourself included.
No,
A crit or natural 1 is ignored.
Bert, I have
right.
very, very serious things to say to you right now.
I'm sorry, Knack. Okay, I'm just gonna number them like Knack is number 1. I'm number 2. Adros is 3.
Adros isn't in this party. They're invisible.
I can see his heat signature.
Oh, being
I
honest.
I can see him clear as day.
This can murder him.
I know.
Break him down invisible. Yes.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Let's go down from the top because Raimi could be in this too. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I was just going to go down the turn order, just like you do. Does that sound good?
Well, we got the enemies too, so.
Right. Yeah. And then just 6, 7, 8. Let's like in the order that you run them.
6, 7, 8. These bad boys getting hit. Oh no.
Oh no, Alindra, I'm so sorry.
Oh no. So you do have to make an attack roll. Now, if you miss this, you miss her. So go ahead and roll that one more time.
All right, one more again. Oh boy.
That's gonna be a miss, right?
That would be a miss, yeah.
Yes.
5 on the dice.
Oh boy, hang on.
You
let me
have foiled the fans' terrible crit.
Yeah, that would have been 72 damage.
Oh, this thing is so cursed. Let's go on. Let's leave the bad taste of that out of our mouth. Edros Veronis, back to you.
All right, Adros, still invisible. He is going to move in between all the enemies.
You want to make a stealth check for me?
I mean, sure. Why not? He never gets to make skill checks. This can be his skill check. Is this with a plus 20?
Yes. Yeah, you're moving quickly here. See if they can see where you are.
I have rolled a 36.
It'd be great if you rolled really low on that one. Yes, that is enough. They do not sense your presence and are aware of your location for a potential attack of opportunity. And you move right up to this back Bekok, right between it in perfect flanking position between all three of these combatants. If they could see you,
I know, right?
And what do you want to do? Standard action.
Adros picked up a Red Star Plasma Sword from the last encounter.
Oh, from Saravox themselves.
Yes, and he is going to use it against the Gatecrasher.
Oh, okay.
Trying to help out. He saw Alindra take a bad hit. This guy, he knows firsthand how dangerous these Gatecrashers are, so he's going to help out. And I have rolled a... Ooh, 8 on the dice. That's a 27, plus get him is 29.
That's a hit.
Pretty good damage. I rolled 2 8s, 45 points of damage, split between electricity and fire.
Yeah, this guy, it looks like it goes right through armor and undead flesh. Maybe burst some bones in its chest cavity. This thing is looking bloodied.
Yeah! Yes!
Okay. And that brings us to Alindra Valis. Oh no.
Okay,
Oh,
so
jeez.
Alindra is going to use her move action to spend an RP to return 36 points of HP to herself.
Oh, okay.
Yay! Full of
Yay,
life.
yay for Alindra.
By the way, that critical fail could totally have just completely obliterated Alindra, so thank goodness.
Curse gun.
Okay. Seriously, throw it to the ground right now. Okay, so that was my move action, but I am fully attuned, so I'm going to use a 10-foot supernova, which will not hit Adros,
Well, you have
but
no
will
idea
hit the big guy.
No idea where Adros is, but
Well, I'm hoping it won't hit Adros. I hope that he was smart enough to realize that I was fully photon attuned.
yeah. I don't know. The 15 could hit this other Baycock. Do you think you would not pick to hit both of them?
Oh no. He's
gosh.
totally right. He's totally right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. Invisibility works both ways.
Wait, so I didn't
I
feel
forgot you
him
couldn't
rush
see
by
me.
me?
Oh, that's a great question. Why don't you make a perception check, see if you can beat Adros's 36.
Okay.
Oh,
6.
36. Oh, you just get it. Just enough to feel him rumble the giant metal grates underneath your feet. You're
Okay,
pretty
awesome.
sure
So
he is in
yeah.
front of you. He could be anywhere. He could be standing right in front of you.
I know, but I'm gonna play it safe and just hit the big guy with my supernova.
And still just blast him if he's right there.
I'm pretty sure he went down the hallway. We'll see. All right. So supernova 53, unless he makes the DC.
Unfortunately, Adros was 1 foot closer
No.
than you knew. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be too
That
good.
would be so evil.
What'd you roll here, damage-wise?
53.
Okay, so a reflex save from the Gatecrasher. Great reflex. I've rolled a 2, though, so full damage.
Natural toot, yes!
Oh, jeez.
Natural toots.
Come on.
I think I did 53 the last turn, too. So.
Get it together, Team Evil. Rainy Quindar. Miles, back to you.
All right, so I'm going to fire at the same Cox.
Alrighty, single shot.
Yeah. That's 24 against EAC.
25.
25.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know if you get the coordinated shot once again when you're invisible.
Probably, yeah. I keep forgetting I'm invisible. You probably have to see me.
That is a hit.
Awesome, for 27 points of damage.
Ouch. Okay, this one not looking too good. This one immediately to the left of Uedros takes another shot that you can see just burning through bones and melting away bits of its armor. It is their turn, though. I'll make some perception checks real quick again. No. Well, natural 1 on one of these. That's great. Oh, awesome. The giant Vesk that you hit does seem to know your location and is definitely going to try and hit you. Going to move back and brings that hammer down right in your square. Let's see. See what happens. 11 on the dice is a hit. I get to roll a 50-50 mischance, though. As you are invis, it knows your general whereabouts, but it misses somewhere in that 5-foot square. Roll a D100, folks. Let's see what happens. 55 on a D100. Oh, you missed the swoop hammer, didn't you, Tyler?
Yes.
All day long, you missed it.
You get a new one.
Bring it back. Yeah, no, by the end of this campaign, you'll be +1 swoop hammer if you survive. Okay, 3d10 coming at you.
Oh, luckily I have the force field up. So
Yeah, pretty lame damage here. This is only 31 points of bludgeoning.
oh, okay. The force field soaks up 20 of that,
Okay.
leaving me with 11, and my DR will soak up the rest of it, meaning take no damage.
Yeah. So it brings down the hammer on your location, and you all can see this quite clearly. The hammer just kind of like hanging in the air and like bouncing backwards a little bit, as you're pretty sure Edros has just been struck fully. The Baycocks are taking a look at targets down here, and Edros, if you'd like to take a reaction attack, one of them is indeed firing at your good friend Knack Feldspar.
I would love to.
Please kill it.
Ooh. I definitely hit it.
37 on the dice there.
And a 37 points of damage.
37s?
Twinsies.
Okay. It is still up after that. You see as one arm looks broken. It's nearly limping to the ground, but it's still going to take an attack here against Knack. 8 on the dice. What is your KAC, Drew?
My KAC is 28.
You are hit, Drew. A piddly 8 on the dice. Let's get some damage, but let's also do a fortitude save for fun. Let's see. You have taken 22 points of damage. Fortitude save. Oh, you're fine. Roll the 14. This dark necrotic energy kind of taking over the wound, but you feel A-okay and able to fight onward.
How much damage was that?
22 points of piercing. This other Baycock is looking at what is happening in front of it. Doesn't seem to realize where you are at Dross, or doesn't want to take that shot, but is indeed going to guarded step backwards. And it's going to let out a dread howl. This is another one of its supernatural abilities that is only going to affect, as per the radius here, Alindra and Edros. I need both of you to make a fortitude save for me.
Oh, Dross is going to be using that eel jacket. Don't you know?
Oh, what'd you roll?
The natural toot.
Oh, okay, yeah. And Rebecca, what'd you get?
16. Not great.
No eel jacket for Alindra. The DC of this is DC 16, though. Fortitude.
Yes.
Lame.
Ooh,
I need you guys to start rolling them onezos.
I'm doing my best.
Thank you. That's their turn. Turn forward. So, Knack, before your turn, the lights in this corridor turn on, but it's these, like black, horrific strobe patterns aboard the ship, and another emergency warning is broadcast over open channels with a very robotic Eoxian voice calling out,
Gravitational anomaly detected. Brace for loss of artificial gravity.
So things are going to get a little weird on this turn because I finally rolled this random chance as you feel, kind of like a jump, a lurch in your stomach as standard gravity begins to slip away beneath your feet and comes back like with full force. And this is a random roll to see what kind of bad things happen on this turn. And I've rolled, let's roll this dice here. So the gravity begins again, and you feel just it's impacted like thrice-fold. Each footstep feels like you're climbing up a mountain, and this is high gravity effect. That does a few things. It's gonna reduce your movement speed this turn. You can only jump about half as far, lift half as much, and fly maneuverability is down. It's very difficult.
All right, Knack would once again like to say, get him against the big Vesk. And it is, we're going to try to clever feint it one more time, just because, hey, big guy, it looks like you're bleeding a little bit. You need a napkin? It's a 24, not going to be enough.
Not enough at all.
I'm going to re-roll that.
Re-roll the 4 on the dice? That's a great idea.
It's a 39.
Oh, yeah, that'll be enough. 19.
Yeah. And then we're going to shoot this guy in his pronking face. Semi-auto pistol. Natural 20!
Yes!
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Wow. Yay. That is a crit. Crit on it. Ooh, boy. Got some damage here. What's your max damage?
So that is going to be 21. It looks like I rolled 22 on the crit, so that'll be 43 points of damage.
It looks like it's about to just lift its hammer again and drop it, but the bullet goes right through its dead brain pan, and you see it kind of like fumble around and then fall to the ground. That is almost exactly the amount of hit points it had.
Yes!
Well done.
Yes!
Nice.
It had 35 left. A crit will do it, as they say. If you crit, you must kill it. And as 147, you got one less target here. It's your turn.
Alrighty. Let's see. I'm going to shoot at the big hawk to Adras's left.
Single shot?
Yep.
Okay, it's looking really weak right now.
Yep. That's a 18 on... 18 altogether.
Just throw this gun out the nearest portal. Maybe put it in the other escape pod and make it someone else's problem. That's a miss. Nothing in the universe. Well, I don't even think if it had been Gittened and Knackified hit, sadly. Edros Fronis, you are invisible, and you got these two guys nearby you. What do you want to do?
Adros is there's a Bakak right next to Adros, and he's not looking very good. So Adros's plan is to try and drop him with a single attack and then move behind the other Bakak for flanking. Even though he doesn't understand that if he's invisible, he doesn't get the flank.
You don't understand invisibility at all, apparently.
No, Adros doesn't. He doesn't understand it at all. He's trying to do all the normal things he does when he's visible. I don't think he understands what greater invisibility is.
Why aren't they attacking me? I'm really messing them up right now.
Exactly. So, but that's what he would do. Let's just do a single attack against this one.
It's a very weak one to your side.
Yes, hopefully this will be enough. Hopefully I roll well here.
Didn't.
I did not, but he is flat-footed
really
against
really
an
bad.
invisible attack.
That will help you out. Let's see, is it going to be enough? What'd you roll?
23 against EAC.
That's a hit.
38 points of damage?
Why is that a question mark?
It's a hope. It's like, that's how much health he had?
Oh, he had a lot less hit points than that.
Yes!
That one's dead now, too.
Yes!
Yeah,
okay, then
baby!
He's gonna make a move action to get behind this Bakak, and he's gonna be like, Alindra, let's flank him!
Yeah, this one doesn't seem to notice you. Still aiming down the hallway. Alindra Valis, we're on to you. This one looks like it's aiming in your direction. You're the closest one to it.
Alindra's like, Adras, I hear you, but I don't see you. Okay. So she runs down the hallway in front of the Bakak. on the other side, but she doesn't know that she's on the other side from Ajas. She doesn't know where Ajas is.
So, Alindra, what is your move speed? Because you are still on high gravity effect.
It is ordinarily 40, and I have 20 feet that I want to go.
Okay, well, that's almost exactly half. So,
Awesome.
it's very heavy to get there. A little more difficult to lift your arms up, but you can go at this baycock.
And she's going to attack it.
Jeez Louise.
That's a 33 to attack.
Yeah, that's a hit. By
And
yourself, you need no one's help.
53 damage.
Oh,
That's 53 damage, like 3 turns in a row.
Yeah, that is.
saying.
It's your lucky number.
Yeah.
Raimi Quindar, I think you're out of range of seeing this fight going on down the hallway. What do you want to do?
I guess move up.
Moving forward to see.
Moving on up.
You need to move forward just a little bit to get within range of this baycock. With the heavy gravity, you're what? You have 30-foot movement?
I think I have 35.
Okay, still have that. You can just get within 60 feet.
Okay, cool.
Stop you right by Andis. Go ahead and make your attack roll. Within 60 feet here, you see Alindra fighting against this last undead.
All right, well, I'll take a shot at him.
Shooting through your friend, through cover. Oh boy, that's
a 21.
a lot of terrible numbers on attack rolls here. That's a miss, even against the AC. Oh no. No! Well, it gets a turn, but it is. Oh boy. Both Alindra and Edros can make an attack of opportunity.
Oh no. What?
Gladly.
It's flying straight up 30 feet.
You go high, I go low.
It's a 24 to attack.
And a 30 to attack.
So terrible idea. These are both hits.
Yes! We rolled the same damage!
Yeah, 45 90 damage altogether.
Damage, buddies.
No. You rolled 45.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Rebecca
So
and
87.
Edros 42.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's still up. It's
Oh!
very hurt. This is a terrible idea, but it gets out of your guys' reach, hopefully, at the top of this cavern. The Baycock is nearly dead from your attacks, but does fly just straight up very clumsily in the high gravity and is going to make a single attack against somebody. You can see, I think, almost everyone here, except for it can see everyone. So let's do a random attack. Weight it a little bit on Alindra and Ed. No, I can't even see a Edros. Let's do a D8 with the top half being Alindra because it wants to very much hit them. Yes. So Alindra is just going to point right back down at you and give you another shot from its gun. 10 on the dice. We've determined that is a hit. So go give me that fortitude save. Let's damage dice.
Okay. It's an 11.
Oh,
That's going to fail.
Rebecca, I love you. Thank you so much. Don't worry too much about my damage roll.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I've rolled 3 ones. Why? What is going on? So, minimum damage of 12 piercing. But the good news, get to roll D3 here. 6, 3. You are paralyzed for 3 rounds. By its fused ammunition. Now, if I do that to everyone else in turn, this guy will survive. Turn 5, Knack Feldspar. We are back to you. This thing is flying up in the air now. Still in the effects of high gravity, as it seems like the ship is just kind of lurching closer to perhaps the demiplane where the stellar degenerator is. It feels like the ship is like kind of accelerating, I guess, upwards towards the top decks. What would you like to do?
You know, you never know if this is going to be the last time you say something, but get him. And hey, Boney, you might want to turn that jetpack off. You're just burning through fuel. Clever feint. 25.
That is not enough.
I'm going to re-roll that. 34.
That is enough.
All
more like
right.
it.
And we are going to try to pop this dude right out of the sky with Paragon semi-auto pistol. Here we go.
Please fail.
That is 35 to hit.
Tyler.
You want me to take that again?
No, it's perfect that Tyler has messed up the perhaps last shot of this AP, as that is enough to drop this guy.
Yes!
All right. Yes! Heavy gravity down to the floor. Had 4 hit points left, so I didn't think that was an attack of opportunity. We're going to be that bad. Got melee characters. And we are out of combat.
Yes! Nat got to drop 2 of these guys. Yes!
Alindra, snap out of it. Snap out of it. Alindra.
I think you're gonna have to pick her up and carry her, Joss.
All right, I got this. Let's go, guys. Run. We're running.
By the way, you just see Alindra
Alindra's floating in the air like a
and
witch. You can pick her up pretty easily, and you see down at the dying Baycock's head, which is nearly snapped off its neck. It seems to be, the jaw moving, whispering something into perhaps the comm unit. And it's only a few seconds later that there's an army of red lights in the corridor behind you. Maybe too far away to see darkness there, but you can tell that it's dozens of Corpse Fleet security robots marching in your direction.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're running.
And run you shall, but as you do, this just erupts in a blaze of energy weapons fire as you know that they have integrated static arc rifles. So these blue shots illuminate the hallway. Just a sea of blue death. Seems like they can't really see you as they're still perhaps under the effect of the virus
Right.
that they installed. But there's enough hot electricity being shot down this hallway. I need everyone to make a reflex save.
Alindra, watch your step.
Alindra is paralyzed and on my shoulder, so I don't think it will count.
And Dross, watch your step.
Thank you.
Just please don't put Alindra in the null space chamber. I don't trust that thing.
Honestly,
Oh,
Right
that's
down.
a great idea, Alindra.
Honestly, Alindra in the null space chamber would be easier to carry, and you wouldn't have to make
Yes.
his reflex saves.
Yes, this is a good point. I will do that on my next turn.
Do you need one from me since Adros is carrying me?
Please do. It's like a luck tax more than anything. 18 on the dice, Rebecca. Yeah, so this was DC 18. Just dip and dive out of the way of some of these shots. They seem to be coming in waves, but everyone will take half damage. Oh boy, it's very low. Everyone's taking 5 points of electricity damage.
Ooh.
As you continue running down the corridor. It's only about 200 feet between you and safety, and I think, let's see, Alindra and Edros are getting out of there in this first turn. I think everyone else is going to take just one more turn. So, Raimi, Andis, and Nat, give me one more save.
Oh boy.
I think all
know,
three
I'm
of
not
you.
gonna pass this 2 times in a row.
Remy, watch your step.
Oh, you rolled really well.
I'm watching all them steps. I'm moonwalking.
There's a lot more damage this time, so it's 9 points, but that will get you to the small room. It opens up like almost a small hangar bay where you see 3 out of like 5 remaining lifeboats, pods, primed, ready for use, and you guys can run in and let's see where that gets everyone. Everyone's down here in this room now, jumping in, I imagine, to the pod.
Yes. Adros jumps in and immediately puts Alindra in a null space chamber.
Alindra's back. She's only paralyzed for like a few seconds.
No,
Okay,
she had one
okay.
more round. It's unfortunate. She's got one more round. I can't risk her being injured. She must go
I'm
into the null
good,
space chamber.
Adros. Just put me down, please. Just put me down.
Alindra's head is
Please.
poking out of the null space chamber. Just
I had an oxygen candle and everything. I'm really bummed out, but okay.
Gravity is still going wild here. You can feel yourself being pulled in all directions, but as you strap into this escape ship, you can tell it's indeed of pretty ancient Eoxian design, still open to the vacuum of space. You sit down, hit the button, and it rockets out of the Empire of Bones and into the ether. And you see it from below the starboard side, this ultra-colossal dreadnought. It is cruising through towards the singularity of the demiplane of the 13th gate and you see its metallic superstructure just vibrating like it was, ripples on the surface of a pond. The intrusion into that magical space, warping space-time, and you see light rays from the suns on the opposite side of this dim plane bend around and shine in your faces, blinding you for just a moment. And it's only a few minutes later that there is a massive shockwave, a light brighter than any sun you've ever seen. Every one of you is forced to close your eyes, kind of turn your head away, for this light is way too intense. Everyone except Andis, as with those eyes of Rian, you are able to automatically filter out that massive light bomb, kind of go sub-spectrum, and get to observe maybe something that no one else in the galaxy will have ever observed ever again. And you catch the initial impact between these two gargantuan vessels.
This is awesome, guys. You should watch this. Look at it. Look at it. Open your eyes and look at it. Why are you looking away? Look at it. It's the best thing.
Yeah,
you're missing it.
Your corneas. Just take a peek.
It's worth it. Look at it.
This is just for androids. Everyone look away. You get to see them smush together, and then this explosion of the Empire of Bones engine core. The light show subsides after a moment, and you can all witness the stellar degenerator. It seems to be boiling and growing these large welts along, it's many miles along its core. And those turn into these massive explosions along its surface. And a minute later, the entire demoplane is just bathed in fire and light. It's impossibly black there, and you see probably something, once again, almost no one in the galaxy has seen before. The implosion of like a supernova inside this small demoplane. All of a sudden, its inky black edges begin to shatter. You see reality tries to grasp with these rapid changes in the system and can't keep up. The two ships fuse into this ball of plasma and fire greater than the ancient energies that the two weapons platforms were built upon. They multiply with one another, and the shockwave ripples out across the cosmos, rocking your small lifeboat and blowing up tons of ships elsewhere. And it's a few minutes later that you do indeed get a call over open comms. Friendly goblin voice calls out to you.
Did somebody order Bumfuzzle delivery service? One Drift Rider, perfect condition, not banged up at all. No bent wings or anything.
Wait. One last time. Since motive.
I think they hit a tree, like hitting the planetoid.
Like immediately on takeoff, they just like backed it into the structure and like, ow.
Captain, permission to dock with your lifeboat and get the heck out of here.
I've never been so happy to see you or hear your voice. Yes, absolutely, permission.
Is this time to talk about a raise?
No, we'll talk about that later, okay?
Okay.
You guys can make your way from the lifeboat on board the Drift Rider. The space that existed between the 12 stars of the system is almost completely gone. The explosions that you see now are just these small pockets of Eoxian vessels that were close to this blast, just going critical themselves. They took too much damage, and they're just twinkling out of existence as their dark engines go cold explosions. The demoplane and the stellar degenerator are completely gone. They've destroyed themselves, and there's atomized bits of the vessel in its wake, and the stars twinkle in time with these smaller explosions of Eoxian ships, and you see these purple and green pinpricks of light as the rest of the corpse fleet armada rev up their drift engines and escape the system. And all of this took place in about a half hour. And you guys set the ship to crash into the stellar degenerator, and now 30 minutes later, this entire system is cold, dead, quiet again, and you're all bereft to scan with the Drift Rider a single portion of the stellar degenerator larger than a bread box floating in space. You can take some time, collect yourselves, but eventually you realize your task is done, and the camera pulls out, and we watch the Drift Rider's engines warming up. Its drift engine initiate, jump into that spaceway. The gateway of the 12 suns once more rests, but this time for good, as its ancient threat to the universe is vanquished for all. The explosion of the system and the stellar degenerator can be seen 100 years later on a far-off planet called Grolota 3. and it was observed during that planet's people's millennial celebration. The Grolodians would see it as a blessing by their gods, as it ushered in a period of peace known as the Silver Centuries. A venerable elder of over 170 years, known the greatest philosopher of the era, gave a speech later during that celebration. It's one the Grolodian schoolchildren would learn for generations to come. In it, she said this quote, "While outside their control, sometimes the fates align to produce order from chaos, and the universe balances itself. When we gaze into the cosmos, we think we see permanence. In truth, we are all but a passing shadow behind the flame. Our lives a story told, whatever relative time we have. Our lives, like those stones beneath our feet, all have their story to tell, and like us, eventually that story will contain a place in time to be concluded." And that is the end of Empire of Bones, Book 6.
Well, guys,
What? We won.
Yeah, you won. Congratulations, Rebecca. I can now officially congratulate you all. We tried to pull out some stops there at the end, but you just survived this entire adventure path.
I guess you could say we built ourselves a stellar degenerator. You have to leave that in. You have to leave that in. It's in my contract.
I don't think I need to do anything. I'm not the boss of you anymore. You guys are done.
We started this with the idea that we were just, fixing a gang turf war, maybe. A disagreement between a mining company and a huge corporation. And now we're floating in the middle of the vast after watching something that will probably never be seen again. That is a pretty cool story.
Yeah, I could have done with 6 entire books of Absalom Station gang warfare, but I guess it was cool how it ended up here at the end. I've been pleasantly surprised every single turn that these books have taken. But I did not see everyone surviving, especially this last book. It's so rough.
It was close. It was a very close.
Boy, oh boy, some of your guys' rolls. Especially, I don't know how many, we need to go back and count how many fortitude saves I've made you roll in book 6, but you hit almost all of them.
Oh, that one, just the last 2 episodes, the fortitude and reflex save I had to make from from rewire flesh and all the fireballs and everything else. There's got to be at least a dozen just there, let alone everything you made Lindra do.
I was gonna say, I think in the last 3 episodes, I managed to hit exactly 1 creature. It was like I hit 1 creature and a wall a whole bunch of times. So
it's funny you say that, because just in this episode, Knack got to drop 2 creatures. Which
it is funny. It is funny that I said that, Drew. It is funny. It's so hysterical. It's so hysterical that every single feat that I took was about making me more combat effective, and you just showed up and just murdered everybody in this last fight, and I didn't get to do anything.
Even in victory, we are salty.
There was an episode there, Jabert, where you tried to cut a space undead monk with like a level 1 knife. You guys are all maybe a little worse for wear, but we're gonna find out what happens indeed to these characters next week. We've got one more official last episode of this season, and that's our epilogue. We have an entire epilogue episode, 2 Dead Sons. We're going to find out where these 7 characters end up. I'm going to count the goblins too.
Yeah.
How are you all feeling about that?
I'm looking forward to the curtain
Pretty
call.
good.
You ready to say farewell to the Drift Rider crew?
No. Oh, I'm so
for
sad.
now.
Good riddance. These guys are.
I've got to say, I feel sort of stunned here, finishing up this book and just reflecting back on the entire AP. I feel like we've done so much and been so many places. Like I don't even know how to wrap my head around all of it. So I'm excited for the epilogue and to get to to talk about. I want to go back through my notes, honestly, and remind myself of what happened.
Yeah,
But
I mean, this
yeah,
We got a
it'll be
lot to
interesting
talk
to
about.
hear.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a heck of a whirlwind through the pack worlds. So I think we'll all have some exciting things to share and remember and reminisce about.
Well, so we're going to have our story epilogue for Dead Sons. Everyone tune back in for that. And then the following episode, we're going to have an entire episode where we just talk about this season. We're going to answer your questions. If you have any for the crew or for me, your friendly GM, you can find us on Twitter at Cosmic Crit. Email us at cosmiccrit@gmail.com or join our Discord. We've already gotten some great questions from the Crittermanders. Thank you, everyone. We're going to answer them. And between those two episodes, that's going to be it for season 1.
and then we all cry. I'm gonna miss them so much.
I don't know. I got some more secrets in store, which I'm very excited to announce. But we're going to have to wait till next week. So until then, let's say farewell, Empire of Bones. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Farewell, Empire Bones. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye-bye-bye.
Crit bit commencing in 3, 2, 1. Crit bit initiated.
Welcome, everyone. We're back. Episode's not over. The season is not over yet. Not until we get a chance to talk about what we just played. And we're going to do that today in a special crit bit. My name is Patrick. I'm your GM. And of course, I'm here with maybe my 2 favorite players. Don't tell the other 3 that.
That's a lie.
The More You Nerd crew is ready to crit bit it up. Say hello, Miles and Drew.
Hello, Miles and Drew.
You got a lot of nerve being so positive after that stunt you just pulled.
Well, okay, I, in my defense, did not write this AP volume, so I was going almost straight by the book. But luckily, we have a chance to once again talk with the author of the AP volume, the Adventure Path volume we just got to play. And so join me in welcoming Owen K.C. Stevens. Hello, Owen.
Hey, folks. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming back like twice within 2 months. That is a record for us, I believe. for
You were so nice the first time I couldn't resist.
Well, yes, it was great to talk to you about the Starfinder Operations Manual playtest, but we knew we wanted to have you on as soon as we finished this book, and that is what is happening right now. For those of you that didn't hear our first interview with Owen, your position at Paizo officially is Starfinder Design Lead. Can you tell us a little bit about what that entails, what that position is? Are you in charge of everything Starfinder?
No, not at all. We have a number of people who have a stakeholding in Starfinder. We have the creative director, who is Rob McCreary, and he and I shared the design lead credit for the core rulebook, and then he's gone on to be the creative director, which basically means he's having a high-level view on everything. So licensed products, storylines, organized play, the feel and consistency of our whole universe and system.
Mm-hmm.
My direct boss, our managing developer, which is Amanda Hammond-Coons, and she basically makes sure that we have enough people doing enough good work to get everything we want to get done, while doing a whole lot of that herself. She's a veteran of the industry and has a lot of experience seeing projects through, so we're delighted to have her with a steady hand on the till. As design lead, my main job is that when people say, hey, would it be unbalanced if we let technomancers cast twice as many spells per day? My job is to say, yes, that would be unbalanced. That would be terrible. Which is not to suggest I'm by any means the only person doing rules content. I'm just the person whose sort of ultimate remit is to look at what are we doing with rules, what is our design space, what are the philosophies philosophies that we want in the game, what works well, and then to try, if I have time, to write all that down in a design document so that people don't always have to turn to me and say, hey, Owen, how are we balancing feats against each other? Well,
as someone that has done a little bit of writing for Starfinder, that design booklet is very useful in not having to ask development leads a million questions. So,
and even that, I mean, I'm glad you find that useful. It's the first actual direct feedback I've gotten.
Oh my goodness!
Even that was not solely my project, right? Mark Seifter, who's on the Pathfinder design team and also worked on the core rulebook, worked with me to create that from the get-go, so that we would know things like how do you determine how much damage a 4th level long arm should do compared to a grenade, compared to a spell, so all of that stuff is team efforts. It's just ultimately someone has to be in charge of keeping track of those things and bringing them forward for discussion when we need to discuss it. And so that's my role.
Owen, do you like surprises? Yes or no?
I love surprises.
All right, good. Well, I have another surprise for you in this crit bit. We're also joined by Jabert, who plays Andis on the show. Hey, Jabert.
Hey, sorry, I'm rolling in here so late.
It's okay. Did the Boston roads chew you up, spit you out?
Oh my goodness, you wouldn't even believe it. It was like an hour and a half late.
So, it's okay.
No, that sounds right.
Everyone rolls last for initiative in some combat.
And my bus driver must have been sickened and flat-footed. So,
oh no, so many conditions.
Right.
I think your entire city has become difficult terrain. So.
Yeah, right. So, Owen, just to be clear, technomancers can cast twice as many spells now? Did I hear that correctly?
This is why we have to have someone whose job it is to say no.
Like an overclock ability where they burn out after 3 rounds would be great.
3 rounds and then they die.
Yeah. Well,
see, the problem with that is that then someone will just slap Junior on the end of their name and say, I'm here to avenge my father.
Yup. Miles might have threatened that a few times. It'd be cool if you call me Samey.
I threatened so many awful things that if my character died, I think Patrick was a little worried that what he would have to put up with, or just like you have to wait until season 2.
No, that's what we do in our Pathfinder game. Is we threaten builds to come back as from the grave that are very strong.
So one thing that I wanted to ask in specific to this book. Well, first of all, how dare you? And
it's a classic.
Secondly, what is it like in terms of what you are in the mindset of in preparing a last chapter for a campaign or for an AP being the last chapter, because you have to kind of amp up everything, and like the Empire Bones was just it was a gauntlet, and it was in some ways the most nervous and nerve-wracking I've of an experience I've had in Starfighter so far, but it's also some of the most fun and ridiculous moments that I've had so far. So it was a very rewarding experience playing through this. But what are you trying to, I guess, what kind of mindset are you getting in when you are preparing a finale like this?
All of that stuff is music to my ears, by the way. You being nervous and having fun is exactly what we're going for towards the end of an AP. I mean, some of it is you want to look at all of the themes that you have built during the AP, and especially since, we've got a whole bunch of different authors trying to do different things with each adventure so that you don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over and over. You sort of look at what haven't we done yet? Like, there are sections of this AP, which is our first adventure path, where I put in rules for chase scenes and rules for vehicular combat because we hadn't used those yet in the AP. Mm-hmm. And especially for the very first one, I wanted to be able to showcase everything that we've done. So like the whole maglev chase scene grav train stuff all came from saying, hey, here's a set of rules that I think we could have a cool cinematic scene with used yet. The other thing for me is that when I am watching a movie, for me, the end of the movie is very, very important to how I feel about the movie overall. I know a lot of people who are much smarter than I am who will go into, the themes and the character development and how is the cinematography. And what I really want to know is, at the end of the movie, am I pumping my fist going, yeah, or not? That's what I care most about, especially in an action or horror or any sort of adventure type movie. So I want to, as much as possible, capture those ideas. in the adventure. And for an adventure path, because we do have so many different authors, there has to be someone who oversees the outline of the entire adventure path at a high level. Someone is finishing that first adventure before we ever start writing the last adventure. And so we have to have a high level outline of the entire arc. And in this case, Rob McCurry, who's our creative director, did that arc. He put together the high level stuff. And then he would say, okay, for your adventure, here are the sort of big beats that we want. Here's the overall theme. And then you write for him a more detailed outline where you say, this is what I see happening. Here are the characters I want to do. This is what I see as the climax. Here are the ideas I want to put into it. And then you work with him with that for a while to get that put together. The AP team is now mostly Jason Keeley and Chris Sims, so they've taken over doing that. But that's still done with Rob's input at that high level, and then they work with the authors to make sure that we are fulfilling what we want to accomplish with each of these adventures and each of these series of interconnected adventures.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I mean, you definitely, as far as like, it does have a very much the end of the movie type of feeling. I mean, from the moment we get on the Empire of Bones, I mean, we had to fight a ship, and we're not in a ship. We're in a hangar.
That scene existed because I wanted to drive home to the players that you all aren't first level anymore.
Oh,
yeah. And
you did. Mission accomplished. And it's a hilarious scene because I think Drew and Jabert's character were trying to figure out something with the computers, or our two melee characters, went at the ship, but they kept fumbling. And for some reason, my character had like just gotten this brand new gun, and it just happened to have the right stuff to directly hurt the ship. So I was the one doing all the damage on the gun for most of the combat.
And that gun was a hand-me-down. It was a hand-me-down from another character who had given it up.
Right,
Who
yeah,
never used it.
Yeah, that was a situation where we'd sort of looked at it, and everyone looked at it and was like, nah, I don't want that. So Adros just sort of stuck it in this null space chamber. And about
Vorpal sword. Does anyone want the Vorpal sword? Oh well, we'll leave it leaning against this tree.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no one knows what Vorpal means. Exactly. That was sort of the same thing here. And at some point we realized, wait, we have this amazing heavy weapon just sitting in our inventory.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was an interesting combat. I think it was a great start to the hangar bay section, which was that was like 3 or 4 episodes just getting through there. Mm-hmm. But that one people were on their toes for. I just think from as soon as they got on the ship, there was definitely that feeling of like an impending countdown or not being able to turn back, which definitely amped things up a little bit. And towards the end of the hangar bay, you guys definitely seemed very concerned about how could you rest? How could you
that was definitely a concern.
Yeah, so finding out the capability of how to do that was nice. I can tell there was some audible sighs of relief coming. It's like, oh geez, thank you.
Look at I like things being as much as possible a cool adventure, but sometimes you do have to look at the realities of this being a game, right? We don't want to set up a circumstance where all your careful planning based on the idea that as you gain levels you will be able to do stuff like sleep. We don't want to throw all that out the window. And yet we really wanted the vast majority of this adventure to be, hey, you have assaulted this enormous starship that's so big we need new rules just to describe it. And I'm a big fan of the giant starship in space. I wrote the section of the new rules for super colossal ultranaut class ships. So part of what I wanted to do, that this thing is so big that there are political machinations going on the starship, and there are places you can go that people aren't going to be able to immediately find you, and sort of have that whole running around the enemy base, running around the mobile space station, those sort of narrative devices where, yes, you're trying to keep your head down, and if you sneeze too loud you can be caught, but you have attacked something so large that they're like, well, 5 people can't possibly be a threat to our entire enormous empire of bones. Track them down. We won't really worry about the fact that we haven't found them.
It's like a moving city. I mean, the ship is hundreds of years old, so like the original designers are all gone. I don't think anyone really remembers that, right? So it kind of has this the same feeling of like an ancient tomb from a Pathfinder game. It's like people live there, but do they know, even those people that are like the current occupants, do they know all the secrets? Do they know all the nooks and crannies? It definitely had that feeling.
Part of what I was looking at was some of my favorite adventures that had dungeons so big that cities had evolved within the dungeon, right? Going back to the fantasy idea. So I really thought of the Empire of Bones as an enormous dungeon in space. And actually the thing that was toughest for me was, how do I tell the players how you all can take a break, get some sleep, even get new batteries and ammunition, right? Because it would be reasonable without having some sort of big street sign that says, hey, here's your way to survive this. It'd be reasonable for players to go, well, we're in an enemy ship. We can never rest. We can never get any more equipment. So we tried to address that as one thing. And then the other was the two things that make the most sense on a giant starship full of undead people are undead and robots. So those are both unliving creatures. And I'm okay with the majority of what you're facing being unliving, but I wanted to throw at least a few things in there where if you had focused on some other set of options that don't work on the unliving, you wouldn't be going, well, there's nothing I can do in any of these encounters.
Yeah, no, you want to have some variety in the monsters for sure. I think that stuff like the slime patch system, having that fight in the hangar bay was really nice. The Cernox that like come in with and destroy the rocks. That was surprising to the players, but like looking at it, it's like an ecology that makes a lot of sense on what is essentially a city in space, that you would have, all kinds of like weird zoological beasts here.
I think the one that
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think the one that made me audibly curse, and I think we had to edit it out, was when we came across 3 Elikoths.
Owen, you gave us a little precursor to that when we talked to you last time, and you mentioned Elikoths. I was like, must really enjoy Elikoths.
I really do really enjoy Elikoths.
They're great.
Yeah, they're life-sucking elephants on stilts who are all sad. Who doesn't want to have a whole bunch of Elikoths?
I was pretty freaked out when all 3 of those showed up, and then I remembered that the last time we fought them was at like level 6. So
yeah, that's another one of those congratulations, you're not first level anymore moments, right? Where you literally get to, here's a thing that you have faced before that was terrible, and there's more of them, and you're in worse circumstances. Oh, but it turns out you've leveled up since then. So
I mean, you've doubled in level, but they have tripled in number as far as the enemy combatants go. So it was interesting how well balanced that encounter was. I think the start of that combat, they get so many like attacks of opportunity as people are like moving into their space, and then they start sucking the soul out of you. It gets very dangerous, but this team handled it pretty well.
That's, again, some of that was a desire to give you more to fight than just robots and undead, but also I've always loved the villain that has the huge hideous monster as a pet.
Like the Rancor with Jabba's Palace.
Rancor from Jabba's Palace, or Thulsa Doom saying, "You killed my snake." So I wanted, again, to have that opportunity where you can say, okay, here's this thing that they have done because they want to make sure you can't get through this room. So they're taking these extra steps just to inconvenience you in case you show up. And that's another opportunity for the players to do something that allows them to interact with some of the bad guys. One of my other things that I was a little worried about was that people just wouldn't have enough opportunities to role play, right? Because mostly these are all people who are going to shoot first and ask questions of your corpse after they've brought it back to life.
Yeah, that's something I added a little bit into in book 5 was trying to give these players a chance to speak with Null 9 before the final battle. But that was written into book 6. That wasn't an invention on my part, was where Gerd Nashal does indeed try and track you down by engaging in a system or a ship-wide communication with the invaders. Really, really fun part. I enjoyed that right after the Elikoth fight.
And that's another thing you'll see sometimes in action movies, right? Is the conversation via radio with the main bad guy who's like, "I'm impressed by your tenacity, but you cannot win." So that's another opportunity to sort of have those iconic moments.
I'm Bill Clay. Nice to meet you, John McClane.
Exactly.
That was a
I think book 6 gave me one of my favorite moments so far in Starfinder, because it granted me the opportunity to do something that I had wanted to try this entire adventure path, which was approach a combat situation in a completely different manner. So when we go to the train station, what we ended up doing is I burnt out all of my level 2 spells to make everyone invisible so that we could get to the train without anyone noticing us. And I think Adros tripped over a bucket or something.
Well, he just not a very stealthy.
But we were still able to get to the train without an actual combat because we ended up sawing off one of the carts and then just zoomed off. And that was the most rewarding I felt, because we were able to do something that I felt was different.
So that was right when you guys leveled up to 12, and I was joking the beginning of that episode. It's like, oh, there's definitely not going to be a combat episode. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, where you can try out these new abilities and powers that you have, and then you go ahead and skip a combat almost entirely, which was a pretty tough one. There's 3 commandos, a couple of Bacawk bearing down on you. One had a sniper position.
Yep. That I have gotten some really nasty friendly feedback about that sniper Baycock. That's
tell him to have a technomancer.
Yeah, right. I mean, as a player and as a GM, I always love it when there's what appears to be a obvious way to handle something, and the group goes, "Nope, we have a better idea." Which that's why I like giving out experience for overcoming a challenge instead of just killing everything in sight. If you kill everything in sight, especially in this adventure, that generally works for you. But if you've got another idea, again, that's a way to not have everything be the same grind over and over and over, but to say, look, this is an environment. You all have certain goals. The whole point of the early part of the starship fight, rather than being exploration as it might be in a jungle encounter, or we want to see every room because we're trying to understand what kind of ruin we're in a dungeon. Figure out how are we taking this thing over and where do we have to go to do that. And so that means that things like bypassing whole encounters are perfectly valid and even smart tactical choices.
Mentioning that it definitely did seem that way. Can we talk a bit about fast forwarding to the end? My favorite part, which is our 2-episode extravaganza, that was the final boss fight. Seravox, a gatecrasher, and the bridge of the Empire of Bones. In addition to that, there are getting up to that point a lot of places where I think we skipped some fights that were suggested, like if the party rests without using the viruses that were Tombstone. In the system, Project Tombstone, so-and-so, a group of robots or commandos would come upon them, and the bit we talked about where Gardner Shaw was talking to the group, he'd be sending out an active search party for you guys that I think you missed by 30 seconds. They rode up on a train and we're coming after you.
I believe we were hiding in a closet.
Yeah, if he keeps you talking long enough, people show up.
Yeah. Seravox, it was kind of the first part. It's like, you guys know now where the bridge is, and you're looking to take it over. So it had a different feel. That the Gardner Shaw fight was a lot of fun. But Seravox in general, one thing I wanted to ask you was, they are a necrovite, where we do have rules for them. I'm not sure. Were they printed again in an Alien Archive?
The necrovites in the Alien Archive.
Right. So, but this one, Seravox, does have some different abilities, a different gear loadout and spells. What was your design philosophy in this fight? What were you hoping GMs would do with this encounter?
I was hoping GMs would terrify their players forever, so that Necrovites got the reputation as being the bad to the bone undead space liches that you never, ever, ever want to mess with.
All right, good. Well, mission accomplished, I hope, guys, right?
Well, I learned something special about Patrick specifically, but
well, once again, I was actually thinking about juicing up that fight and maybe adding in second gatecrasher or something like that for people that were outside of the wall of force. But rereading that, I was like, wow, this is going to be tough enough as it is if one or even two players get divided, if the party gets split in two, because you never know what's going to happen on either side of that wall. Like who's going to roll highest on initiative? It was Edros. It was Tyler this time, but like, what if it was Alindra? What if it was Knack and he like runs up?
One,
for some reason.
He would never have done that.
Well,
Two,
but what if?
But that is another situation where if we had a different party makeup, that entire fight would have gone differently. Kind of like the sneaking around. We happen to have a technomancer that could cast invisibility on all of us in order for us to sneak by and skip that fight. If we had a technomancer or a mystic with a dispel ability that could have dispelled that force wall, it would have been a very different fight. And
but for that matter, if you've got a team of people who are mostly melee combatants who want to rush up and he can't get the force wall, the Necrovite can't get a force wall between you and them, it becomes a very different fight.
Yeah,
exactly. Ours went, one way. I think was not the best case scenario, but the most survivable. We had a very Tyler had a very difficult time because my gatecrasher Owen walked up to him in the first round of combat and critted immediately for 70 points of damage, and he's like, I don't know if I can do this after that. So that definitely changed things up, and that first fight, episode 70, was not going well for you guys.
That gatecrasher was basically a lone Vesk soldier attacking with a little envoy rat yelling at the monster from across a wall.
Yeah. Well, and what was funny about that encounter, and I think what changed things for the rest of us is because because his character is designed to be pretty beefy in terms of stamina points, and most time when he gets hit, like Tyler just kind of is very quick to just shrug it off.
He's very blasé about it.
Yeah, he's very blasé
it's
about
no
it.
big deal, guys. I'm fine.
So
tank build. That's
when
kind of what
Tyler
they do.
started to sound worried, that's when I was like, I think I'm going to stop shooting at this wall and teleport over there.
We had a full week between episode 70 and 71 where I was high as a kite on life. I was so
Did you guys
happy
hear
with
Patrick's like devilish laugh right there? He was.
Patrick almost ended up without a podcast, so maybe like chill out with this braggy brag.
Well, like I said, I think before we started recording, I think if I had cast Wall of Force a third time, I wouldn't have any more friends. I think you
were 100% correct.
I would have been blacklisted on Facebook and Twitter, be like, we're shunning you, we're turning our backs forever.
And it's just one of the things when you're trying to design that is pretty much the end of the whole adventure path, right? So you want to make sure as a designer that you're giving people a challenge that they go, oh yeah, I see why we couldn't do this when we started. I understand.
Yeah,
this is the person that's been causing so much misery over the course of 5 previous adventures. But at the same time, you don't want to just say, hey, you guys should be 13th level, so it's 3 20th level Solarians, all of whom have greater invisibility and haste. Because always just break things. So I really wanted... One of the nice things about a spellcaster, especially an undead spellcaster, is you can give them several different specific useful spells and abilities so that the GM has options kind of no matter which way that adventure goes, no matter how that combat turns out.
Yeah, and like I said, this Necrovite was built differently. I think the more the defensive spells that they had might have played into their character a little bit, as trying to be guarded against people like Gerd and Ashal trying to like stab them in the back and take control of the fleet or what have you, which was interesting to see. But it turned out to be, I think, definitely our longest fight in the history of Starfinder for us, the history of this podcast.
100%.
20 rounds, so a couple minutes long, and when that Wall of Force lasts for a minute and 10 seconds or what have you, that's a long time. But
that will change the course of an adventure. Yeah, it's interesting. The CR is about right that I could have just used a by the book Necrovite from Alien Archive. And that's what my outline originally said, because I wanted to save room, right? I can say, hey, use this from the Alien Archive. And this is another case where there's a difference between me looking at things from a purely game mechanical question, which is how I tend to approach games first, right? I've got a lot of stuff I want to make sure I get in there to be fun and interesting, etc. But I tend to look at game mechanics first. Now I'm like, well, these game mechanics are fine. I can write a cool encounter with this. And then Rob McCreary came along and said, look, we can't have the ultimate bad to the bone bad guy just be a stat block out of the Alien Archive, right? People will have seen that. They'll know what's coming. You've got to give them a custom villain. And a Necrovite makes all the sense in the world for the Empire of Bones to be the Admiral, to be the ultimate villain.
Yeah.
But you got to write one from scratch. You have to make the room. And since you're doing that, you have to make sure that the changes that you put in goes through the encounter so that your GMs and the people playing go, oh, I see why they designed this different.
Yeah, I think it was a good choice because one, the one that you've got set up here can really hold a lot of party builds at bay and mess them up. Whereas the general one is scary for sure, with a rack staff and things like that. But I don't know, maybe I think that's part of the fear as well. If you're like, oh, I know what a Necrovite does, and then it starts casting a wall of force and things like that. Like, never mind, I don't know what this is. Gosh, run.
Right. Well, and we like to assume that players are not playing having carefully read all the undead in the Alien Archive. But this is the first adventure path. So if you are someone who is also running a game of Starfinder, it would be perfectly reasonable for you to have looked at how we did the Space Lich. So yeah, the other big advantage is it becomes clear very early on, oh, I know roughly who this person is, but I don't know exactly what they can do.
Before we wrap up tonight, I would like to maybe talk about some of our favorite moments playing through this book. I think, besides the Saravox fight, I really enjoyed doing a chase scene, especially with Miles at the reins as an ace pilot. that was at 12th level, you get like new bonuses to help you out and stuff like that, which was awesome.
That was fun for me.
Barely touched them in that combat because of that. Anybody else any favorite moments from Empire of Bones?
I like the change of expectations, not the change of expectations, the sort of upsetting of expectations. I'm losing the word that I'm looking for here. But so when we first get to the Empire of Bones, there's a signal that we have to find somewhere on the ship, and what's this signal? What's this signal? And we spend 2 or 3 episodes trying to get towards the signal, and it's just a bunch of dwarves in jail cells that are already dead, and we have to kill them, and that's it. And we get some story stuff out of that, but that is in any other book or any other part of this. That would be, they would give us this key that would give us this thing that would do this, and and there's so much of that happened. Even before the Saravox fight, we have cleared out the glass vaults with this amazing loot, and we're just going to clear the side rooms before we move forward into what we think is going to be the boss fight. And the side room had Gurdon Shawl in it, and there we go.
Yeah, you guys were very surprised by that. Like, you're like, what?
Once you've raided the trophy cases, I can't let you all just have one more big fight after that. I mean,
it's a couple.
There's a reason the Necrovite felt perfectly comfortable leaving all of this awesome stuff sitting in trophy cases, and part of the whole principle behind how Saravox does stuff is that Admiral that has to show such force and confidence that the people that the players have already discovered are perfectly happy to potentially mutiny and take over, don't dare move against the Admiral. And so that's part of the entire
everybody.
So that's how a lot of the stuff that comes together. You start with, okay, if you are a Space Lich, how do you convince people that they can never, ever, ever risk going up against you? And then how can I spin that into interesting moments for the players?
Right.
I would say, I was let me start with saying, when I designed Andis, I sort of wrote it and I was like, I want a character that can eventually hijack Absalom Station. like, this is what I want. I want to steal Absalom Station.
I want to be a computer nerd.
Right. And so I was just sort of like, all right, let's see how we can get there. And so the whole time as we were going through, I was sort of like, well, I guess we're getting towards the end. We're in the last book. I was like, well, I guess we're not really gonna find any level 10 computers.
We're not going to steal any ships.
I guess we're not going to steal any ships. We're just going to blow up a dumb big space station. And so, definitely were some level 10 computers that I definitely got to practice on. I appreciate it.
And steal a space station.
And steal
Yeah, pretty much.
space station.
So
Super colossal, ultranaut.
going back to an old Pathfinder campaign, Jabert got to steal a train at one point, and it was kind of a high point. And so not only did we get to steal another train, but the entire Empire of Bones.
Yeah, you guys were so excited when that train station showed up. You're like, it's happening.
It's all happening.
It was such an important part of our homebrew campaign where Jabert was literally just stealing everything, and not even just stealing it. He would just say, "This is mine. I'm taking this," and it would be like, "This is my building now." Like just random things. And so to be able to come back to this, even though obviously people who listen to the show don't really have that relationship, for us it was such a moment of providence.
Well, and I think a lot of people, if not that specific moment, right, there is a fair amount of who interact with things like trains and cranes and slide walks and sort of that higher tech stuff that doesn't show up in maybe a Pathfinder or a D&D adventure as much, which is one of the reasons we wanted to look at that. The idea of having a chase scene using grav trains actually was one that Jason Keeley had come up with for the Ruined Clouds, which he was writing and I developed, but he just couldn't make it fit. There wasn't room for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, I've been trying to figure out how people are going to move around on the giant Empire of Bones, right? Because I was thinking of Spaceballs, where the president, Mel Brooks, comes in and says, had to run, ship's too big. If I'd walked, the movie would be over. So having some sort of mass transit made sense for me. And I was like, well, that's a great idea. I can pick that up. And instead of doing it where we've run out of room in the Ruined Clouds, we can put it in the Empire of Bones. And he was really happy to know that idea was going to survive, even though we tweaked it and changed how it worked. So the core of that comes from Keeley.
Yeah. We spoke with him about that. And I was a big fan of the rule set, like as soon as I got the core rule book back in 2017 now, but I was like, where's it going to fit in this campaign? I was waiting for it. We almost did one, like a little side quest adventure in, at the end of book 3, beginning of book 4. But I opted against it at the last moment. This is going to be a very confusing episode learning these new rules, but they fit in very well with the extra, like hazards and things that were in the Empire of Bones. There's a great, if you guys don't own the physical book out there, I highly recommend it. There's a 2-page spread with some art and descriptions of all the different decks of the Empire of Bones, and a great map at the end of the book, which I really enjoyed.
I'm so glad you like that map, because one of the things we're trying to figure out is how are we going to map out?
How do you do it? Yeah,
right.
Like
and
18 decks. It's basically like a cutaway style of the ship.
And one of the reasons that I wanted to do the grav train chase the way I did, so that different sections of the ship had different impacts on how that chase went, was so that you could use that map and you could say, okay, well, we're on this deck. We can go up to that set of decks or down to this set of decks, or we can move back to the engine room area. So it would actually have a use in play to justify having taken up a page to show you this cutaway view.
I didn't even think about doing that during the chase scene, but
I was
going to say people should, now that that we've developed this method. I think this book, if people want to roll up some level 11 Starfinder characters and have a great dungeon delve, this works really well, I feel. Just getting into the ship, like, infiltrating the super fortress and taking on the corpse fleet. It's fun by itself. Like, you don't really need to tie it to the greater story for it to be a romp, a riot, a good time,
That's cool. So cool to hear. I'm glad that you all have that reaction to it.
Yeah, and we talked about it being very action movie oriented, and I mean that definitely, I don't know, I felt that way in the pacing of our episodes. I think we're like took about 13 episodes, and each one of these is like an hour and a half. So it was a while. It was like a full season of television almost these last 3 months.
even at the end, like, you're asking for our thoughts when I was starting to pilot the Empire of Bones, I said, well, if J.J. Abrams taught me anything about starship combat at the end of a movie, we need the Beastie Boys pumping. And so my character's listening to the Beastie Boys as he's driving the Empire of Bones into the Stellar Degenerator.
I don't know if that's canon. I don't know if Beastie Boys is canon in the universe.
Well, I mean,
the Beastie are
now.
I'm sure it would be Strawberry Machine Cake if we were doing canon, but
Yes, yes. We'll get
That's the
rights
Beastie
of it.
Boys of the Starfinder universe.
Yes. All right. Let's wrap up this crit bit. Now that we're done with it, I just want to jump back into this book again and run through it with some different characters and see how they would survive, particularly this final battle. But alas, we got to move on. No more high level characters for these folks. We're going back down to level 1.
it's a small adjustment. No one will have any problems.
It will definitely be an adjustment for me. This is my first like true full official tabletop campaign. So
yeah, congrats, Miles. Survived somehow.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and it's really cool. It's really fascinating, and I don't know if this is characteristic of all adventure paths, or whether it's because this is the first Starfinder adventure path. But from book 1 all the way through the final book, every book had a different feel. Every book had different stuff to do, and they all felt different and new, and just showed the breadth of storytelling and breadth of gameplay that you can have in the Starfinder universe. And I just want to thank you guys for putting all of that stuff out for us to take advantage of and play.
I want to thank y'all for buying it, right? Because that's what pays my salary. So, for putting this together, we were very, very fortunate to have Rob McCreary doing the outline for this, because he has so much experience with Pathfinder adventure paths. And so he is an excellent person to look at. Okay, how do we make these all interconnected, all feel like one story, and yet show off all the different things we can do with Starfinder and still give you something new and interesting, but not something that your characters aren't prepared for as we go along. So I felt very privileged to get to write the capstone of this sort of giant story arc he'd conceived. Oh yeah. Well, we talked to him back in episode, I think 17 or 18, and I made the comparison to the Rise of the Rune Lords, which was the first, full Pathfinder AP. And I feel now that we've completed this one, this stands 6 for 6 AP volumes toe to toe with that Pathfinder adventure, which is one of my favorites. We've played through before on an IRL table, and I think both kind of have this great capstone climax in book 6, which is like, how did we survive?
God,
how did we survive that?
Do you guys remember when all we were worried about was the Hard Scrabble Collective and
goblins attacking Sandpoint?
And Akadas. You guys remember how scary Akadas were? Oh man,
they still are. They're very frightening.
we can make CR15 Akadas if that's what you need to feel comfortable. That's not a problem.
No, that's all right.
Oh, I think I understand where we're going next with these characters. Let's bring them back for an Akata fight. Before we let you go, Owen, where can people find you online if they want to follow you, hear more about your design elements, things like that? I've got a blog, owenkcstevens.com, which is supported by a Patreon, and there's links to that from like every post on the blog. I'm owenk.c.stevens on Facebook. I am frequently on the Paizo boards, just pretty much everywhere I can possibly manage. And I'm Owen_Stevens on Twitter. And I'm happy to chat with folks, and I try to be on all social media all the time. I'll put in more notes for the blog. I appreciate it a great deal. You've got a lot of stuff written on there. I don't know how you have time for it, but including a whole nother setting like that works with the Starfinder universe. The really Wild West, really Wild West setting pack that I'm doing on. Yep. Yes. So if you like cowboys and aliens, I feel like that one works really
cowboys
well.
And aliens and magic and Martians and poker.
Yes, we need rules for poker and Starfinder. Make them up, please.
They're there. That was posted this month.
Oh my goodness!
I saw the gambling rules that you'd posted. It was
support this on Patreon, everyone. This is
I was. I'm actually working on a sort of a small arc that's all about a casino right now after reading that. It's pretty cool.
Spoilers.
It's awesome. I look forward to seeing your Patreon support name, Papa.
Yes.
Be entirely fair, right? You, as a group, Cosmic Crit is supporting my Patreon, and I appreciate it. So I don't want to be too blithe. I give this stuff out for free, and people get to put money in the tip jar if they're so moved to. So, but yeah, I have a lot of fun. I like Starfinder so much that I can't write for it for just one game company. So I do stuff privately and for other companies as well.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. I think I've talked on the podcast a bit about the Starfarers.
And that was put out through Rogue Genius Games, and it was written by Alex Acunas and Matt Morris. Yeah, a lot of people like that book.
A lot of good stuff in there. I mean, there's a ton of great things out there if you're looking to go beyond into the great wild yonder of Drive-Thru RPG and other places where they get Starfinder stuff published.
Almost all of that is available on Paizo.com. Paizo also has Starfinder forums, including third-party Starfinder forums. So if you've got questions about popular third-party books or what are popular third-party books, the community on Paizo.com on those Starfinder third-party forums is really friendly and really helpful. So if you go to them and you say, "Hey, I really want rules for Mecha to pick something I actually haven't written," so I'm not shamelessly boosting my own stuff. If we haven't done anything official, there are people there who will point you at what they found and what they got useful. You can buy that from Paizo. When Paizo went out of their way to support third-party content for Starfinder, right? They made an advanced version of the rules available to some third-party publishers, which is why so many people had stuff available day one. There's some awesome starship art and maps, and people are doing all sorts of stuff. So I'm really excited to see the game as a whole be supported by things like Real Play podcasts, by third-party publishers, by people's blog posts. There are Facebook groups. So it really seems to be embraced by a wide group. And that, for me, that's part of the whole promise of the OGL, right? That here's this opportunity for us to do all this stuff. And Paizo is never going to publish a Cowboys and Aliens Old West with Magic setting, right? That's just not on their radar.
Why not?
That's
Darn
great.
it. Let's go to Akaton and have a shoot 'em up.
That doesn't mean we would never do anything weird West themed briefly, but we're certainly never going to do an 1890s alternate Earth set. Right. It's just not.
No, sadly.
Things like that tend not to make the kind of money that Paizo wants to make. And it's not the things that the fans of Paizo are mostly, as a group, looking for. But with the OGL and with Paizo's really very welcoming support of third-party publishers, someone else can do that. And then the people that want it can find it and use it. And maybe they're inspired to make something else for it.
Awesome. There's for those of you out there like me that there's not enough Starfinder. There's a lot more beyond just what you can buy on your local gaming store. Although I've actually seen some Rogue Genius stuff, I feel like, in print, in publication form in my local gaming store as well, which is always exciting.
Occasionally our stuff makes it to print into a game store. Not often, because honestly, that's my side gig. I am full-time employed by Paizo, plus I do work for Green Marine and Write Publishing, and I've got my Patreon. So Rogue Genius, I do what I can when I have time, but my ability to pay the bills is covered by Paizo, and I really appreciate both their support of the game in general and of the broader community that I get to do so many other fun things with.
Awesome. All right, let's wrap it up. We could probably talk about Starfinder all night long. Thank you so much for being here, Owen.
Absolutely. Again, I'm really glad you all had a good time, and I hope that you all enjoy going against the Aeon Throne.
Oh, yeah. That's starting, oh boy, in just a few weeks. Jabert, Drew, Miles, thank you guys.
Thank you, Patrick. And thank you, Uncle.
Let's wrap it up and see you next season, everyone.